Yo, what's going on? In this video, I'm gonna be teaching you music theory for noobs or for beginners, and we're going to be going over the three major pillars that you need to understand in order to begin delving a little bit deeper into music theory. But this is going to be a little bit different from maybe some other music theory tutorials that you might find out there on YouTube, because this is coming from the perspective of producing music. I'm not going to teach you a bunch of stuff that you don't need to know. I'm just going to teach you what you need to know in order to produce music. If you want to get deeper and you want to learn how to play piano and all that sort of stuff, you'll need to find someone who knows how to play piano. I'm mediocre at the piano, but I know a great deal of music theory that allows me to be able to produce beats and make music. So my piano skills are probably, a little bit better than yours if you're just starting out right about now. So we're both mediocre at piano, to be honest. But I'm gonna give you the knowledge that you need to know in order to basically get better at making music and to understand the theory behind it, so that you can jump in and follow the rules, break the rules, do whatever. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jay Carter Ray from jcarterray.com, teaching you how to be better at music, online business, and YouTube marketing. Now in this video, we're obviously talking about music. If you are an artist and you want to get beats or whatever, or you're a producer and you want to maybe get drum kits or loops or that sort of stuff, or samples, you can go to jcarterray.com. You can get beats here. We've got 10 free beats that I'm giving away right about now. If you go to jcarterray.com, you can click this up here, or go to jcarterray.com/free beats. Right about now, we do not have like samples and all that sort of stuff, but that will be coming. I'm going to be putting out templates and a bunch of great stuff that you'll probably be interested in. There'll be links down below and all that sort of stuff. But this, I want to teach you about music theory. This is a super 5-minute long promo. Let's get into learning about music theory. And the first thing that you need to do that is going to help you out a lot, is to download the circle of fifths. Now, this is the circle of fifths image that I personally use. I've got it printed out and it's on my wall so I can see it at all times. Now, this is going to help you a lot in terms of music theory. It's going to make everything much easier, and this is what we're going to use as the basis for our music theory right about now. Let me quickly explain the circle of fifths. I think that'll be useful to you. Now, we will be using Photoshop to do this, so I can draw and and do all that sort of stuff. I was thinking about getting a whiteboard app, but I've got Photoshop, so that is what we'll do. Now, basically, the way the circle of fifths works is on the outer rim of the circle of fifths we have the major keys. So this is C major, G major, D major, A major, E major, B major, C flat major, F sharp major, and G flat major, and so on and so forth, all the way back around. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And then in the middle section of the circle of fifths is the relative minor. So C major, those notes are also in A minor, and then E minor, B minor, F sharp minor, C sharp minor. Most music, I mean, it depends what kind of music you're making it, but minor generally has like a sadder type sound and major has a happy type sound. But to me, minor sounds like normal music and major generally just sounds like something super cheesy. So unless you're making like super pop happy music, or you're trying to make a really happy song, or maybe a theme song for a sitcom or something, you're probably not going to be working in major a lot. If you're trying to make like R&B, rap, trap, that sort of stuff, you're going to be in the minor keys most of the time. But the way this relative minor to major works is C major. Let's start with C major. Do I want to get into this yet? Yeah, I'm going to give you a basic brief overview before we get a little bit deeper into this down the road in this video. This is going to be at least 3-part series. I've planned out a bunch of stuff, so this isn't going to be, I don't want this to be a super long video. I just want to give you what you need to know right now. So In C major, we have basically all the white notes on the keyboard. If you don't know what a keyboard looks like, you can bring one up by going to Google, but we do have FL Studio up here, and we got FL keys and the piano roll. So C major would be all the white notes from C to C. Yeah, so every white note on here is C major. This is the scale of C major. I'm going to explain scales a little bit more down the line, but that's basic. The key is the scale, basically. Now, as far as I know, like, that's as much as you need to know in it. We don't need to get any more in depth than that. The key basically is the scale, and those names can be interchangeable for what we need to do. Okay, so this is the scale or key of C major. Now, A minor basically would be these exact notes just starting from A. So if we was to create a song or a melody, generally sometimes you'll break this rule, but a lot of the time you'll start with the root note. The root note is basically, you know, these notes over here. So C major, C would be the root note of C major. G major, G would be the root note of G major. A minor, A would be the root note of A minor. E minor, E would be the root note of E minor. This is why this is so important, because this is where this circle of fifths image is so important, because this is basically where a lot of music theory can stem from if you use this correctly. So let's bring up FL Studio again. Now, in order to create the scale of A minor, we just use the exact same notes, but we just start from A. So if I just started from A and it was just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then A, that would be the scale of A minor. And now if we was to do a melody, we'd start using A generally, and that will give us the sound of A minor. Or if we wanted it to be C minor, we start using C. Or if we're creating chord progressions, then we'd start with the chord of, you know, the whichever one has A in it. I think it's probably the A minor chord, to be honest. But you get one. Well, you might not understand what I'm saying if you're new to music theory. I don't want to get too deep into that. Get a little bit into the weeds there. Let's stay away from that, okay? I've got very specific things that I need to teach you about. We need to talk about sharps and flats. Let's get to that, because that is something that can confuse a lot of beginners. It definitely confused me when I started out with music theory and whatnot. I didn't get what are sharps and flats? What's all that about? I just didn't understand what it was. It just seemed like a weird thing to me. Now, the circle of fifths makes it really, really easy. It shows you which notes are going to be sharp in each key. And the way this works is, if you know how to read scores and read notes like this, then you understand which notes this is. But honestly, like, I was taught how to read staves and all this sort of stuff, but I don't really remember that in it. The way I remember this is going to be a simple trick that I'm going to show you very, very shortly, so stay tuned. But basically, I'm going to show you like what is in each key, like what is sharp and why is something sharp and why is something flat. Now, not generally, this is how it works. If something's sharp, it's basically moving up a tone. Now, to explain this, I need to quickly explain what semitones are. Now, each space in between notes is a semitone. So from this white key to this black key is a semitone, down to this white key is another semitone. Every note basically jumps a semitone in it. So this is one semitone, but from that to that is two semitones because there's a black note in the way. So from G to F is two semitones. You get what I'm saying, innit? That is how we measure the movement between notes, semitones. So if we go up a semitone from A, we'll go to A sharp. And that is how that works. If we move down, which would be left if you're actually using a keyboard, and right is up if you're using a keyboard, left is down. If we go down, it would be a flat. So if we go down to A flat, we'd move it down, and that would also be G sharp. G sharp is also A flat. And the way you refer to it can depend on preference, or it can depend on the scale that you're in. If we're in a scale that has G sharp in it, so we're in a scale on the right hand side, you know, all these scales with the sharps, then we'd probably just call it G sharp instead of A flat. But if we're in a scale with these flats on the left hand side, then we'll call it A flat. Okay, so that's generally how I use that. Now, in order to know which notes have to be sharped or flatted in the specific scale or key, there's a very useful rhyme or useful sentence that you should write down. Okay, so let me give you the trick that I use to remember it. Now, there's a specific sentence for the sharps and a specific sentence for the flats. The sentence for the sharps is father's I don't know, should we write this here? We'll just get rid of that, innit? We'll get rid of the circle of fifths. Father's child goes down and ends battle. So let's size this down. Father's child goes down and ends battle. Okay, write that down. It goes F, C, G, D, A, E, B. The first letter of every word is the basic sequence that we go with on this side. So let's not worry about the flats right about now, so we don't have to worry about this being in the way and looking really, really weird. But let's write it out over here. I don't think I'm going to do a bunch of text because that seems like that's just going to get really, really annoying really, really quick. So we got F. There's one sharp in E minor and G major. Then we got F, C. There's two sharps. We got B minor. Then we got F, C, G. These are all the sharps. So the way this works is, if I was to show you the scale again of, let's just pick one of these. Let's pick E minor. So if we go from E, we know F is going to be F sharp, and then all the other notes are just normal white notes. We don't need to worry about sharpening them or anything like that. We just go right back to E. So that is the scale of E minor. And if we keep these notes here, you'll see how it's so easy to change from scale to scale when you understand the circle of fifths, or from key to key, however you want to refer to it. I need to pick one of those so it doesn't become confusing for you guys. So this is a G, and then we got F, C, G, D, and then we got F, C, G, D, A, then F, C, G, D, A, E, and lastly we got F, C, G, D, A, E, B. That's every note in the scale or in the key. Every note in the key is sharped. And yeah, the writing looks terrible. I don't really write with the mouse. I've never done that before. Well, I have done it before, but it's not really something that I do in it, so allow me. So, oh shit, am I recording system audio? I hope I am. Well, actually, we don't really need to record system audio for this. That's not really necessary. So that is the right hand side. Father's child goes down and ends battle. So right about now, we've got the scale of the key of E minor. Well, it's scale when you're talking about piano, it seems. Let's just use scale. We got the scale of E minor up in FL Studio. Now, if we want to go to, makes more sense if I show you the circle of fifths, innit? If we want to go to B minor, then we would add a C sharp in there. So we would then sharp this C by moving it up, remember? And now we have the scale of B minor. Now, obviously, we need to go down to actual B, but we wouldn't ever press C in this scale, because if you use the note that's supposed to be sharp or it's supposed to be flat and you don't use it where it's actually supposed to be, so if you use C sharp and it's supposed to be C sharp and you use C, it's going to sound really, really bad, except for places where you know where to do it, and sometimes you can break these rules, but generally you won't want to touch that. Just for this scale, this is the note that you're going to use from now on. You're not going to use the normal C, you're going to use C sharp in the case of B minor. So we could basically just delete that, and now we've got B minor set up here. So it's B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. So I think that should be making sense to you right about now. It's very simple. Now let's go, well, it's simple to me, because I've understood this for years, but it might be confusing to you because you just learn it for the first time. I understand that, but write down father's child goes down and ends battle. You're going to need this in the future. It's going to help you really remember how to use the circular fifths, and I do 100% suggest you download the circular fifths and just write F, FC, FCG, FCGD, FCGDA, all that sort of stuff around your picture, like what I've done basically, so I don't really have to use my brain and all that sort of stuff to remember exactly where it is if I just want to quickly pick a scale and start making some music. So let me show you the other side of the battle. Now, the other side where we're talking about flats will be battle, ends, and down goes father's child. So that's B, E, A, D, G, F, C. Okay. And the way we do this is the exact same way we did it on the other side. So we'll fling this up, so that probably, you know, messes that up, but you know, you can rewind this and pause it and write all this stuff down. Don't worry about that. Now let's go back in there, and I don't know if it's necessary for me to go through this, but it seems like I probably should, because there'll be some people who are like, nah, I'm confused, you should have went through the thing. So yeah, no, we definitely do need to talk about flats. So the first thing is in F major or D minor, we've got B flat, then we've got B flat and E flat, then it's, you know, B, E, A, then B, E, A, D, then B, E, A, D, G, and here we're getting a bit sticky, so I'm not gonna draw it in because it's just gonna end up looking terrible in it. But you know, we got B, E, A, D, G, F here, and B, E, A, D, G, F, C right here. Okay, so this would be, if you're using C flat major, then you'd use flats over here instead of B major, which would be sharps, and G sharp minor, which would be sharps. So that's how that works basically. Let me show you a few different scales of the flats. So we'll start with, let's do C minor, so that's B, E, and A flatted. So we'll start from C. No, we'll start here, C, and we'll go to C, and then we want B, E, and A flat. So, well, that was A, so we bring that down to G sharp. So this is the scale of, what scale was that again? I've totally forgotten. Of C minor. I don't think, have I ever made a song in C minor? I don't even know. I might have to check that out. So that's how flats work. I hope you've understood now. I shouldn't have to show you another example. But basically it's very similar to how sharps work, just you bring the note down. So this is B flat, but it's also A sharp, but we refer to it as B flat in this specific scale because it is a scale with flats in. You generally won't have a scale with flats and sharps. You either have sharps and flats, at least in the keys that I work in. Like, generally pick one, because it's easier to understand what you're doing if you just pick one and you move forward with that. Okay, So we talked about semitones, we talked about sharps and flats, we talked about the circle of fifths and scales, I believe. Yeah, we've gone over scales in talking about, you know, the circle of fifths and all that sort of stuff. So this is what I wanted to talk about in this video. We're not going to get into chords and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to get into that in the next video. We'll talk about triads and extended chords and then in the seventh and all that sort of stuff, so you can get some lush chords up and running, so you can actually learn how to start producing music. But this is the information that you'll need that forms the foundation of the future information that I'll give you. So this information, when you use this and you apply it to maybe one of my beat making videos or my other videos on music theory, you're going to be able to understand that much more easily, and you're going to be able to move forward much more quickly without fumbling around trying to find keys and trying to understand what notes you're able to play in key. Like some people, what they do, let me quickly share this with you if you don't know. What they will do is they'll bring up a sampler, which I believe it doesn't make any noise, and they'll have the scale like here, and they'll like turn it off so they can't hear it, and they'll like elongate the notes so you can get like across everything, and then they'll copy it down and up. And basically what this does is now it creates a bunch of ghost notes that if you go into another, well, now let me just use the sampler, but generally they'll use the sampler, not FL keys in it, because the sampler I believe doesn't use as much CP as FL keys, because it just doesn't do anything as far as I know. But let's go in the sampler and see how it looks now. So now we can see all the notes that are in the actual key, and it's very easy to make sure that we're always in key or in the right scale when we're like making a melody. Like look, we've got a melody there. I don't know if you can hear anything. Well, I can't even hear anything because this is just a sampler and it doesn't make any noise. But there we go, we got a probably terrible melody, and that is all in key. Like really we'd want to keep it a little bit more close together, but that is what some people do. But with this knowledge, you can use this and you can use other methods like this as well, but it's going to enhance your ability to actually make music on the fly. And when you keep on, you know, instilling this knowledge in yourself and putting the circle of fifths on your wall or whatever, you'll learn it over time, and it'll just be easier for you to make music, and you won't have to, you know, bring up like this whole sampler thing and do all that sort of stuff all the time. Although these sorts of things may help your workflow and make you work quicker, so definitely look into them and don't shy away. Don't feel like, you know, I shouldn't do that, that feels dirty. You can use anything at your disposal to help you make better music. I just want to give you the information so it can be easier for you to make better music, and you can understand the information that I'm going to be giving you in these future videos. So definitely subscribe, stick around. I highly suggest you jump on my email list so you don't miss anything, and you'll get these videos delivered to your email inbox. There'll be a link in the description where you can either, you know, download some free beats or sign up to my free course, and you'll basically be added to my email list after that. But the free course and the free beats are, you know, worthy in of themselves, as well as the email list. I'm putting out loads of great stuff over there. So go to jcarterray.com/freebeats if you want to grab some free beats, or go to jcarterray.com/free course if you want to grab that free course, depending on, you know, if you're a producer or if you're an artist, you know, you may want different things in it. But if you get those free beats, you'll get the free course anyways. Like I'll send it to you, so don't worry about that. And you might as well sign up for the free beats and then see what I want. And basically, yeah, that's it. If you want to buy beats, you could go to our website. All the links in the description down below. You can find all the tools that I use to make music. But I really want you to stick around with me and walk through this series and apply it to the future videos that I'm going to be putting out, because this is really going to help you. This is the foundation of your education right about now. This is the foundation of music production and making it easier for you and making you be able to produce faster and learn much more quickly. So stick through, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Comment down below for this question of the day. Answer this question. Please let me know, what experience do you have with music and music production? Like, where are you at in your musical journey? What do you know about? What do you want to know more about? Let me know in the comment section down below. That's really gonna help me understand where you're at, so I can help you the best moving forward. And I'll see you in the next video, because this seems like I'm rambling at this point. But in the next video, you'll learn more about music, YouTube marketing, and online business. Peace out.